afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a chance to approve, review the minutes. Still looking for the motion. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Holes.
House.
Oh. I was looking at them, you both put your hands up. Either one, you're right.
Don't make you do it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. First resolution we have is a resolution establishing capital project number 1122, earth boiler steam drum repair, in the amount of $500,000. First by legislator Martino, second by legislator Twist. Does anyone have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. IT2, resolution increasing authorization of capital project C0322, building roof replacement, in the amount of $50,000. I'm actually looking for a motion to have this amended so we could take this money from the fund balance.
I make a motion to move the money from the fund balance in the capital project.
Understand. First by legislator Martino, second by legislator House. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Now to the original motion
Yes, ma'am.
as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Carries. IT3, resolution authorizing expenditure from capital reserve number 21, building renovations. These are renovations at DSS in the amount of $120,000 for the bathrooms.
Mr. Chairman,
And this, I'm
I
also,
make a motion to take the money out of fund balance and move it into capital reserve number 21.
Second.
No, into the capital project now.
capital project.
Capital project.
Yes.
Capital, sorry. I make a motion to amend this, to take the money from fund balance to put it in capital reserve number 21.
Capital project.
Right?
No.
Capital
Capital
project.
project.
Capital project,
Yes.
Capital project.
I'll second the capital project.
Right.
yes.
Yes, what Phil said. Did you catch that, man?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Hearing none.
He's taking it out of the.
Right.
Got it.
On the original motion as amended, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Carries. IT4, resolution authorizing budget modification with central services. These are several transfers within your budget, correct? And the combined total of $15,000. For a motion to move. Move to discuss. First by legislator Lockwood, second by legislator Twist. Does anyone have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Okay, and committee review. First is bid number 22-SW-017 fly ash and raiment cleaning. And, oh, Peters, I'm sorry. Holly.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, I'm not used to having that.
Oh, well, for solid waste, there's the fly ash and drainage cleaning. We sent it to 2 vendors plus advertised it. Only one response, and that was Evergreen North American Industrial Services, and Carl was okay with them, so.
Okay.
Did you have them last?
Yeah, there are the contract we have been using for years.
Understood. Is there a motion to move it?
Move it.
First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Holtz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. That carries. And we have another bid from Highway.
Yeah, that's for rental of highway equipment, and as you can see, we sent it out to numerous people. We received 7 responses, and I don't know, did everybody get the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be awarded to different vendors,
Yeah.
the lowest vendor for each.
Yeah, because
Equipment
various
rental.
equipment from multiple vendors, it's an annual thing. Yeah.
Isn't there usually more than 7?
What's that?
Oh, we'll discuss first.
Yeah.
Move it.
First by legislator Martino, second by legislator Holes. Now, any questions?
Yeah, isn't there usually more than 7? I feel like we've had a lot more before.
Well, we don't know because we don't have the back knowledge.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I remember there being more last time, but
I don't think so.
I couldn't find out that.
We're not, but
Not the Reynolds.
I think it's usually about that same number. I could not find nothing personally on it.
Understand. All those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, carries. That's it for the bids, correct? And next, we have an NOA request for use of the Oswego County Solid Waste Parking Lot. Anything you want to say on that, Rob?
Joe,
Yeah.
Sure. My name is Joe Chevroletti. I'm with the Oswego County Soil and Water District, and we had kind of a unique request come in from NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric and Administrative organization. I've been practicing that all afternoon, but it goes so well. And they're with the National Severe Storms Laboratory. So actually, a couple folks from this organization, also associated with the University of Oklahoma, came to our building, which actually has a county facility. It's right next to solid waste on Route 3, and we sit off the road. If you're familiar with where we're located, we're right next to the solar panels as well. And this group is interested in just the site, nothing to do with our programming or anything of that sort. But just a site to launch a weather balloon, and they're interested in studying lake effect snow. So obviously they're in the right area for that. And they've scouted all over the county, found several locations, and this just happens to be one that would work for their their study. And what they do is, if you had a chance to look at it, there was a link on it that showed some photos of the weather balloon. Essentially, it's a pretty large bag. They open up, looks kind of like might be the size of one of these tables here. They have a crew, a couple different vehicles, a truck, a couple vans, something like that, several individuals that get around it, launch it. It essentially goes up in the air, and then they pick it up. Maybe they kind of describe maybe 10 or 15 miles away, something like that. Could be on the other side of the county. So once it leaves there, that's it. They just leave. It's not like they really just need the space. That's that. So so I ran this by Phil and Carl. Everybody seemed okay with it, and just I was asked to bring this to the committee for review and hopefully approval.
So it's just use of a parking lot for that.
Right,
Sure,
yep.
Richie didn't have any issues with it. There's going to be something there that.
Liability issues.
it's pretty close to the airport too. I've been in contact with NOAA also about the same thing, and it will not affect any of the operations at the airport. It's right next door. It's my understanding that they're going to do it, their severe lake effect events, looking for like the thunder and lightning during the lake effect events. So it won't have any effect on the airport.
In November to January this year is this year to next year is when they're studying.
Okay. Motion by legislator Martino to approve.
Are they going to advertise that they're doing it? Because my phone will ring off the wall. I've got something floating over.
UFOs.
Those older people over there, they don't know all this stuff.
I don't think there's anything. I can certainly ask them, but it will be during the snowstorm too, so hopefully it goes semi-undetected.
It's a big snowball. Okay, I'm just saying, oh, Joe.
Yes, I believe
Great.
so.
So Linda, my understanding is that, that it's based on a weather prediction that they may not know until like within a few hours of when they want to launch. So I don't know if they build in public notification on that unless you get some big pending storm that you can see 3 days in advance.
Mhm.
They might be able to say there's a potential that we're going to do this, but until they see like the really intricate details of the storm clouds and they think there's going to be lightning involved, that's when they pull the trigger. So
Unless we could put something out there that just, basically.
there was a story.
We're allowed.
Was a story in the paper
Oh, okay.
last week, I think, about it.
Okay.
What liability road in that one? It's federal government, we're covered.
Making sure,
Yeah.
people like to pass the buck.
Understand. All in favor of approving? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Yeah. And the health department, we had a request for a cell phone. Three. Understand now to have one.
3 or 4.
One cell phone.
3 on one and one on the other.
Oh, okay.
Make a motion
Okay.
to move both,
Okay, first by legislator Twist for discussion, second by legislator Martino. Anyone want to say anything on the cell phone? Did you know anything about it? I don't.
We wrote that pretty well with the meeting.
Okay, yeah, they spoke that on the case was the additional. Understand, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Okay, now on to the ARPA request from the Town of Schuylkill Water District. Anything you want to say on that, Dave?
Sure. So the first request is similar to one that we had from other municipalities, Hastings and others. They had projects underway prior to COVID, and then they were shut down and tried to restart the project, and the bids came in much higher than what they originally had. In a few cases, work had already been done, and there was just remaining work where there was an elevation in price, which that was the case with Hastings. In this particular case, the project was put together, it went to referendum, it was approved, the taxpayers accepted the referendum at a specific price per property based on their frontage, and then the town, after COVID, went and got new prices, and now they're in a bit of a pickle because the price is higher than what the referendum was, and people have been paying the tax to build the district for 2 years with no water service, and they really need to get some help to try to close the gap and get this project built without having to go back to people who've already been paying for something that they haven't received and ask them for more money for something that they didn't receive. So this one's a little bit different than some of the others who were just asking for some help to cover cost increases. These guys are in a spot. The task force recommended $250,000. The
Understand?
town didn't ask for a specific amount. They just said, whatever you can do will be great.
Okay, that's what I remember when we had some involvement with them before in the beginning of their other project.
Right.
I know they've been working on it for years. Okay, looking for a motion. First by legislator Martino, second by legislator House. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you, Dave.
The second one, it needs a bit of an update. So the town has decided that in order for them to grow, they really need to make some investments, not just in water, but in wastewater treatment. They currently have one sewer district that serves the industrial park, and there's a project underway there to help increase the capacity for the Phoenix treatment plant. But even with that project, for the town to really grow and benefit now, particularly with the impact from the Micron facility 5 miles away, they want to do a feasibility study to see should they have their own wastewater treatment system. If they should, where should it be, and how big should it be, and things like that. So they wanted some help with a feasibility study for that purpose. They asked us for $25,000, and then they asked the IDA if they could help, and they also made a request to Environmental Facilities Corporation, took a chance on a grant there. they were awarded just under 20,000 from environmental facilities this like 2 days ago. So they don't need the whole 35,000. The IDA this morning approved up to 17.5, and the intent originally was going to be that IDA would pay half the 35 and we could pay half of the 35 to help them out. This is before we knew about the IDA's commitment and the EFC commitment. The task force had recommended $35,000. I'm going to suggest to you, after talking to the IDA, that since they have the 19,000 and change, we still split the balance with the IDA and do up to 7,500 if they need it. So we don't know, they don't have a final price for the study. It's going to be somewhere around 35, but they already have 20. So between us and the IDA, we'll split the other 15 to the extent that they need it. So the suggestion to you is whether or not you want to support 7,500 for that study.
Make a motion, we have to alter it, correct?
No, you don't have to alter anything. You're going to just modify this number that is attached to Schedule E. That's the only amendment, and since this hasn't been officially introduced other than to you, this is where you can amend that number.
So we can just approve that up to the amount of 70.
And so your amendment would be to amend Schedule E to reflect whatever number you're going to choose.
So make a motion to change Schedule E to 7,500, not to exceed. So we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Opposed?
I said,
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, on the original amendment, as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, the airport request, and now we have last minute an easement from the Village of Mexico. It's a resolution authorizing the execution of 2 easements on certain tiers to the Village of Mexico. This is the property across from DSS. It's the house. This is along them the easements to do the water lines.
Second.
First by legislator Martino, second by legislator Twist. Any discussion? Anybody have any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Good. Okay. And let's get to department updates. And,
Steve, don't forget the Mayor Hayes.
that's correct. We did have a,
Sean,
go ahead, Sean, you wanna?
Yes, I was approached by the town of Hastings. They got loads of grindings for, I believe it was their park,
Right.
and I was just wondering if you'd waive the fees for it for the park. So I didn't bring it.
Just for the committee's information, we, this is something that kind of happens often. If the town needs some millings or something like that from the county, for accountability reasons, we keep track of it. It comes forward. This is where you can see charging a town. First by legislator Twist. Is there a second? Second by legislator Lockwood. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I abstained to the appointment.
One abstention. Legislator Martino. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sean. Forgot about that. He shows up there, I doubt you.
Come with me for a day.
Oh, I will. Okay, first up, solid waste.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Well, as you may recall from our last meeting, sustained the
Doesn't Sean have something else for us? Did you have something else for us?
Well,
Oh, I was just going
I'll
over.
do a little updates. I'm first page.
See, the bottom.
This is not my day. I
Okay.
apologize, Carl, go ahead.
I don't know, the AM this morning real early, I think it was around 3:30, there was a fire on County Route 1, just east of 29, or west of 29, and we got a call from OS 100 to see if we could come over and help with some machinery. We went over with a big hoe and moved some stuff so they can get in there and put the fire out. And then they called me to come over. It was a real dangerous structure, so we just knocked it down late this morning, put it in a heap. Because if not, we're gonna have 50-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow. We probably would have blown over in the middle of the road. So
Understood.
we took care of that. So,
Is the church,
it was the church, correct?
the one next to the cemetery?
Yes, it was probably a blessing for a lot of people.
It was.
That whole building was only a few feet off.
It was, but if you knew it was inside it, you know, it was a blessing for people. Thank God no one was there.
Understood. Okay, anything else?
Well, we had our nice first snowfall. It was very interesting. We got out there in time. State called us a few times to see if we needed anything. We didn't need nothing. They helped us if we needed it, and we helped them if they needed more. But everything went pretty smooth. A couple little hiccups, breakdowns, but other than that, it went pretty smooth.
Understand. Anything else?
No, that'd be it.
All right, thank you for the, oh,
Okay, Sean, have you, talked about the Novellus meeting that we had, or?
I have not. I
So-
talked to Chris about it, but not.
Yeah, mind if I?
No, go right ahead.
So a year or so ago, established a capital project, set aside up to $500,000 to help Novellus create a new entrance on County Route 1,
1A.
1A. They approached us again recently, and I reached out to Sean, and he got Chris involved, and we've had some conversation. They still want to go forward with that. Sean and Chris went over and looked at the site. It's not going to be an easy or inexpensive project for whoever takes it on, but we did give them a letter a couple years ago saying that we would help them with the project up to that dollar amount. They're going to be getting back in touch with us sometime soon to talk about who can do what or how it's going to happen. I think Sean and I talked afterwards, and he and Chris are of the opinion that we might be better off just saying, okay, well, here's the 500, good luck, rather than going, even though it's our road, if we take the project on, it's going to be significant resources, even if they pay us for what the rest of it costs.
The engineering itself is gonna cost that, I believe. Yeah. There's a lot of infrastructure there. You got gas lines, you got big
Railroad
roads,
tracks, yeah.
you know,
go through all the mains.
It's- the heart of the area, and I think it's above our engineers' ability. So I'm thinking, like we were talking, you're probably better off saying, here's your 500,000, go for it, or whatever. But,
We just have to give them permission to
Give
work
them-
on our road.
yeah.
But they're going to do $350 million expansion, and this access is going to make, it's already kind of dangerous with the hill there, and this will be
Railroad
a
track.
good safety improvement for them.
Oh, definitely.
Funds already allocated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that last year.
It's too bad it wasn't about a quarter mile west.
Early
That
this year.
had the biggest intersection they
Well,
could have ever needed. They could have put
I remember
anything they wanted this morning.
Yeah. When did we allocate the funds? Was it earlier this year?
Well, that
Or,
was a couple of years
Yeah, it
ago.
was
Yeah.
a couple years
Pre-COVID.
ago.
I guess, how time flies.
I don't know that we can just give a private entity 500,000. I think we could probably, since the capital project already set up, allocate that 500,000 towards the engineering
Engineering
study to make sure it meets county, state specs, and pay for that part of it. Then authorize them to do the work. if they're
Okay.
Right.
Just as a point of interest, they got a hold of us and said, hey, we're getting ready to do this, so.
Or if there was a portion we could do, I would have to do the 500,000, which may be just a blacktop.
Black
Maybe
copy part, right.
Final paving or something.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
can handle that, no problem.
You know, so.
In kind.
Right of a check.
Right, I didn't mean it like, but
Yeah.
I'd give you 500.
Okay, thank you. Is that it? All set, Sean?
Thank you.
Okay, now I can make.
So we were moving forward with our boiler to repair, as you may recall, last meeting, we had cracking in the steam drum of our number 2 boiler. So half our plant's been down, drain tube's been down, since discovering that. Working on getting it up as soon as possible. Currently we have an estimate for, what we want to do is do the repair in, I guess, 2 phases. So a 36 inch by 36 inch, flush patch, just to get the drum back together. And then we'll address the tubes down the road. We already have to do the other screen bank tubes down the road anyway. So that's what we're looking at doing now, is sort of a 2-phase repair. I have an estimate for phase 1 to get the drum back together. That just came in right before Thanksgiving, $101,500. And they are ready to begin the deconstruction part of that process as soon as Monday, this coming Monday, the 5th. So we're looking to move that as an emergency project. I believe I will do that, but as you're aware, you just set me up with the approval here for the capital project, but I would like to encumber funds from somewhere in our budget prior to the final approval on that capital project, just to be able to get a PO going to get them started here ASAP, if that meets with the board's approval, committee's approval. And that's where we're starting. We anticipate that in the end, the vast majority of this is going to be funded by insurance. I actually just talked to the insurance adjuster, and he says they're cutting a check for $76,500. That should be in the mail now to cover our balance post the deductible. So things are moving forward.
So,
Is there a reason that can't be purchased on the 15th or after? What's the?
Well, I think the reasoning is that we're down to half the plant. This is a pretty major impact on our system. Certainly some public health concerns, depending on what weather we may get into and what impact that has on the landfill. Obviously, we're bypassing all that waste to the landfill now.
So every day you're down, you're losing money.
And that's the other side. Every day we're down, we're losing money. Business interruption. We're not making steam. We're not making electricity. Every day we're down, we're losing money. Plus, just the impact upon solid waste system to be able to process waste at our design capacities.
And he has a nice write-up on it, on why he considers it an emergency purchase. If anybody wants to see it, I can send it to them.
Understand, I've seen all.
Well, and you've authorized it as an emergency, okay, so that's all the authorization you
Okay.
need to go ahead and encumber the funds, and then on the 15th, the money will be ready.
Okay.
Okay, so we won't have to do anything here.
Unless you want to back the purchasing director up by motion in a second to authorize it, that the committee agrees it's an emergency.
Make a motion to back the purchasing director as an emergency.
First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Martino. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there we go. Yeah, we definitely need to get that back up.
Yeah, that's the game plan. As of right now, if we get them going immediately, starting next week, they can start the deconstruction process, get the tubes cut out where it's going to cut out, start the cleaning, and then word is, I guess, to get the patch machined and started. It's a fairly major 2.8 inch sheet of steel, so that's going to take some major machining. So that's 4 weeks out. And then they'll have to, target it up and weld it out of there. So probably at least another couple weeks after that. So we're trying to move as fast as possible, get the plant up and running.
Absolutely. Okay. Very good.
Next.
All right. All good?
From last meeting as well, I know I was supposed to have an info and I didn't. Land bank has used, I think it's 29,000 so far this year.
Okay.
Yeah, just over 29,000.
All right.
I believe that's it. The most important items here.
Okay, thank you, Carl. On to Brandon.
we're doing pretty good out there. We got the, that runway job wrapped up actually just in time for the weather. The grooving's all done. It's all repainted, back open. Everything's great. They did a great job. Reifenberg Construction was the contractor on that one. I'm working very diligently right now on trying to get a bunch of old grants through the FAA just closed out. After COVID, they worked from home. There was a lot of changes in the organization. It's been a nightmare. It's holding up some of our final payments, like $17,000 here, $10,000 there. So I'm discussing with the FAA what we need to do to get this moving along so we can get all our final reimbursements back, close our capital projects, and then just get everything off the books right now. They've had substantial changes within the organization, and it's going to be a slow process. Some of these are from 2019 that we're still trying to close out. So we'll keep pushing them, getting our money back. And it's just reimbursements from what we already appropriated towards the capital project, and then they gave us for the grant money. We're looking at switching over to LED for the whole airport. That'd be an FAA grant application. We're in the process of getting all the information together right now. That's really about it. We're pretty much just getting ready for winter. Just sweeping all the dust off from all the construction that we've had.
Understood. Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
snow blowers are up and running.
No, we've got an extra snowblower. Everybody needs it. It's a little bigger than a driveway snowblower.
One pass.
Yeah. And then your neighbor can pay you to do his driveway.
Is it going to make more light over
Okay,
there?
thank you.
It should make more light.
On the B&G. How's it going, Dave?
Break-
I got everybody's name.
That's all right.
He's got me on speed dial.
For us, since the last time we spoke, I've talked to Tetra Tech, and they've come up with a budget price for that elevator of $500,000. I'll be coming to the next meeting to speak about that. It's there's cranes involved, there's holes in the roof involved, updating all the electrical. I mean, it's a bigger project with a little bit of asbestos involved. So but it is the center of the building. Get you to all the offices. I mean, I think it's something that needs to be done, but we'll speak more about that.
Right.
That's their estimate.
Too much money.
That's their estimate, right?
That is their estimate.
Okay, so that's how the bid.
No, that was
Right,
just, I've been waiting for a budget price, and like I said, they came back last week again, and then they sent me an email a couple days ago saying that, I think it was $497,000.
How much for a new set of steps?
A little less.
You make a fire pole?
But-
Exactly.
The only problem is it's right in the center of the building, and it's kind of where you need an elevator, but
Right.
it can be discussed more, and we'll go from there. As far as the other stuff, we're still working on that stuff up Camp Hollis. We're finishing decks, we're waiting on doors. We're hoping it doesn't snow for a couple more days, and we're out at Camp Zerby working on the Taco building, trying to finish that up for the winter. And other than that, getting ready for snow.
All right. Well, we have a nice mellow winter.
Hope so.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
We had a small inter-building public relations campaign and tried to convince all the employees that the stairs were now the actual employee health club, but none of them were buying it.
Somebody bought in.
We really need to.
It's
Understood. Okay, under central services.
Things are going good for the most part, still trying to fix more things than we break. I think we're on the plus on that front. Requisition or purchase order's gone in for the video system, so haven't got any kind of start date back from the vendor yet. They'll know more once they actually get the cameras and the other related gear. So that's on the burner, trying to wrap up some projects by year end anyway, and looking for projects for next year. Starting to get some stuff at least budgetarily priced out. We're a big project, like I mentioned before, updating the county network so that it really structured in a way that it's architecturally, it meets best practices from a security standpoint, and not physically, architecturally, but more logically how it's structured. So just a lot of hands-on programming work there, but kind of looking toward having phase one of that done by the end of the year. Number of obstacles on it, and a couple of things I've tried to fix myself twice, and get 95% of the way there, and the other 5% is some important stuff that doesn't work, so I've got to get a third party pulled in to get part of it fixed. We've got, I mentioned before, firewall upgrade project. There's 6 of our 10, 11 firewalls that are being replaced, and so those will have to be configured, and so 4 of those deployed in the next couple of weeks, and that's really part of the network upgrade project as well. We're also trialing a couple of programs, one for patch management. We're always looking for vulnerabilities in software and other systems and keeping that patched current. Bad guys are always attacking us. There's hits on our firewall from Russia, from China, from any place you can think of. There's attacks constantly, 1,000 times a day. Somebody's trying to break into our network, and just like everybody else, but we definitely get our share too. So, we're trialing some vulnerability patch software. One thing that we're trialing as well, which I'm kind of enthusiastic about, or at least is enthusiastic about this kind of stuff. It's for doing electronic inventory of our computers. Something we really needed. It's kind of a pen and paper thing now, and not really sufficient for an organization our size. So, what we see from that, it's relatively inexpensive too. So, I'm thinking that's something we'll be swapping out with really what we have now, which is kind of more major things. So, good stuff like that in the works. Housekeeping things. So things are good.
Just a quick question. You say we get hit regularly by would-be intruders. Is that like a print-off that comes to you? I mean, do you see like, okay, this day, that time, like on that day, we got hit this many times, then these where they came from? I mean, is that like a print-off?
So there are notifications that come by email that we configure, that come from our intrusion detection, IDS, IPS, and intrusion prevention as well, so the traffic would be dropped. Now, in the case of some of the usual suspect sources, their traffic is blocked anyway, geolocation blocked, so traffic from the IP address ranges that are associated with China, the Russian Federation, actually all of Africa is blocked. Most of Asia is blocked. South American countries, there's no reason for there ever to be traffic of business related coming to the county. The only exception would be somebody on vacation who might be trying to VPN in. They're not going to be able to connect into the network because the traffic's blocked. But so tools like that they're expensive. They're complex. It could be a full-time job. You could have somebody that did nothing other than monitor this.
Well, I was just curious if there was...
Yeah, so it's there are notifications. I can put reports out from it as well. But, so, and it's, again, not unusual.
I'd just be curious to see how many times they were getting hit from whom? Or from where? Yeah, it must
from all over.
be interesting.
And from inside the United States, too. That's the difficult traffic to block, really, because we can't block it.
Understand. Okay, thank you very much. I believe that's everything.
As long as the infrastructure gurus are in the room, we're going to be kicking off a feasibility study to see if we should have some sort of countywide water, sewer, broadband entity to take the heat on the pressure off the small communities that are trying to do it, and maybe connect what already exists so that we have a better
network of infrastructure and can help the county grow some. And so any of you who are deeply impassioned by infrastructure topics that want to be part of the review or internal committee as we go through that study, I welcome your participation.
I know before we did the one study, we had the map drawn that I seen. I know that a lot of the key was up there where they're working on up in school. Right.
This will be very deep into the woods, like right down to, for example, Town of Mexico wastewater treatment system. How old is it? How much debt is there? How many districts are there? What does everybody pay? What would it take to upgrade it? What are the opportunities for growth? And then once you understand that about all of those little places that exist,
Right.
you can come up with a plan about whether it makes sense to try to take it all on under one roof and have it under like a dank authority type of arrangement or some other arrangement that has its own bonding authority and can actually invest in making those growth opportunities.
So that would utilize the art like the ones in, they can then potentially Oswego
Yeah,
down.
if they want to. We're not going to go in and say, give us the keys, you're out of here.
Right.
They'd have to buy into the transfer. But that's what the study's going to find out. Who would be interested and what would it take and what would the net benefit be for everybody. So
Right.
if you feel strongly about wastewater and you lay awake sleeping about it at night, this would be the job for you.
Well, I know a lot of things that, I have a lot of questions along that line that I've had people ask, where it's always so expensive for the sewer, but if you're doing it all at once and it's one larger thing, where the fees would be, I'm sure that'd be part of the study as well.
Right.
We should talk about that, Dave. I'll get you some beats.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, well, thank you, and, looking for the appropriate motion.
Make the motion.
Motion to adjourn by legislator Twist, second by legislator Holst. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.